Hello, listeners, and welcome back to Everyday Health Stories, the podcast where we explore the fascinating world of medical science through the power of storytelling. I'm Anna, and as always, I'm here with the brilliant Dr. Kota Reddy. Today, we're diving back into the incredible world of gut health. Dr. Reddy, you've helped us uncover so much about the microbiome in previous episodes, but I hear there's more to this story, especially when it comes to how modern life has really thrown our gut health out of balance.
That's exactly right, Anna. It's always a pleasure to be here and share more about this fascinating topic. The gut microbiome is central to our health, but the truth is, our modern lifestyle has created what we call a gut health crisis. Understanding how we got here is the first step to fixing it.
So let's start with the basics. What's happening to our guts? How did we end up in this crisis?
Well, Anna, the gut microbiome is like a thriving community of trillions of microorganisms. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, all working together to support digestion, immunity, and even mental health. But this delicate balance has been under attack for decades. Antibiotics, for example, while life-saving, don't discriminate between harmful bacteria and the beneficial ones we rely on.
Right. Antibiotics are like a double-edged sword, essential when we need them, but they can also wipe out the good guys.
Exactly. And then you layer in processed foods. Our diets today are packed with refined sugars, chemical additives, and unhealthy fats that starve our beneficial microbes and feed harmful ones. It's like planting weeds in a garden instead of flowers.
Weeds. What a great analogy. And it's not just food, right? Environmental factors play a role too.
Yes, absolutely. Environmental toxins like pesticides and synthetic chemicals can disrupt the microbiome. Plus, modern hygiene practices, while critical for preventing infections, mean we're less exposed to the diverse microbes that our ancestors encountered daily. This oversanitization contributes to what some researchers call microbial extinction.
Wow, microbial extinction. That sounds serious. Are we really losing microbes entirely?
We are. Over generations, humans have lost certain species of gut bacteria that used to play critical roles in our health. This loss isn't just about balance, it's about missing pieces of a puzzle that are essential for everything from digestion to immune regulation.
And what are the consequences of this loss? How does it affect our health overall?
The ripple effects are enormous. Without these beneficial microbes, we're seeing higher rates of chronic conditions, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, even mental health issues like anxiety and depression. The microbiome's role is so interconnected with these systems that when it's out of balance, the whole body feels it.
So it's not just about gut health, it's really about whole body health.
Exactly, Anna. Think of the microbiome as a control center. When it's disrupted, it sends out the wrong signals, affecting everything from our metabolism to our mood. That's why this is such an urgent topic. It impacts all of us.
Dr. Reddy, this is such an eye-opener. We've heard about the microbiome before, but understanding how modern life has contributed to this crisis makes it feel so much more urgent. What should we focus on next?
I think it's important to talk about solutions. In the next segment, we'll dive into what we can do to rebuild our microbiome and restore those lost microbes that are so essential to our health.
That sounds perfect. And listeners, before we move on, take a moment to hit pause and subscribe to Everyday Health Stories. You'll get notified of new episodes, gain access to exclusive content, and join a community making positive changes one story at a time. Okay, Dr. Reddy, now that we've set the stage for the gut health crisis, let's talk about solutions. You mentioned that some microbes have been lost entirely. How do we even begin to rebuild something that's essentially disappeared?
Great question, Anna. The first step is understanding what our microbiome needs to thrive. It all starts with our diet. The modern diet, full of processed foods, lacks the fiber and nutrients that beneficial microbes feed on. To rebuild, we need to make intentional choices, focusing on whole nutrient-dense foods.
So fiber is the star of the show here, right? Why is it so important?
Fiber acts as a prebiotic, which is essentially food for your beneficial gut bacteria. When you consume high-fiber foods like leafy greens, legumes, and whole grains, you're feeding the microbes that promote gut health. It's like planting seeds and giving them the nutrients they need to grow into a thriving garden.
I love that analogy. So what about fermented foods? You've mentioned them before. Are they like adding instant plants to the garden?
Yes, fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi are packed with probiotics, or live beneficial bacteria. These foods help replenish the gut directly. And here's a tip: homemade fermented foods can be even more powerful because they contain live active cultures that are sometimes missing in store bought versions.
Homemade sounds amazing, but for people who might not have time, are probiotic supplements just as good?
Probiotic supplements can be helpful, but it's important to choose the right strains. Some probiotics are very strain specific, meaning they only address certain conditions. That's why I often recommend starting with food based options, as they offer a broader spectrum of benefits. However, for targeted issues, like restoring a specific lost microbe, supplements might be necessary under the guidance of a healthcare provider.
Speaking of lost microbes, can you explain how we identify what's missing? Is this something we can even measure?
Yes, and it's one of the most exciting areas of research right now. Advances in microbiome testing allow us to analyze stool samples to identify which microbes are present and which are missing. By understanding an individual's microbiome, we can tailor interventions to restore balance.
That's incredible. So, once we know what's missing, is it just about reintroducing those microbes through food or supplements?
That's a big part of it, but we also need to create an environment where those microbes can thrive. This means avoiding the things that harm the microbiome: processed foods, artificial sweeteners, and even certain medications like nonsteroidal anti inflammatory drugs, which can damage the gut lining.
So it's not just about adding the good stuff, it's also about cutting out the bad stuff.
That's correct. And here's something fascinating: studies show that even small changes can have a huge impact. For example, adding more plant diversity to your diet, eating a variety of vegetables and whole grains, has been shown to dramatically improve microbial diversity in as little as 2 weeks.
Wow, 2 weeks? That's such a short time. Are there other lifestyle changes that can make a difference?
Absolutely. Regular exercise is another powerful tool. Studies have shown that moderate physical activity can increase gut microbial diversity. It's like giving your garden fresh air and sunlight. Stress management is also key. Chronic stress can negatively impact the gut, so practices like mindfulness, yoga, or even just deep breathing can be incredibly beneficial.
This is also practical. And what about hydration? Does water play a role?
It does. Staying hydrated supports digestion and helps maintain the integrity of the gut lining. Think of it as watering your garden. It keeps everything running smoothly.
So, to recap, we're talking fiber, fermented foods, exercise, stress management, and hydration. That's a lot of great advice packed into a small package.
It is. And the beauty of it is that these changes are accessible to everyone. You don't need expensive treatments or complicated protocols, just simple, consistent habits that nourish your microbiome.
Dr. Reddy, this is such empowering information. I can't wait to share these tips with everyone I know.
I'm glad to hear that, Anna.
All right, Dr. Reddy, we've covered how to rebuild the microbiome and the practical steps we can take to improve gut health. But I know this isn't just about digestion, it's about so much more. Let's talk about how these changes ripple out to affect the rest of our health.
You're absolutely right, Anna. The gut microbiome is like the central hub for your body. When it's thriving, it influences everything from your metabolism to your mental clarity and even your resilience against chronic diseases. One of the most striking areas of impact is inflammation.
Ah, yes, inflammation, the word that seems to pop up in every health discussion. How does the gut play into this?
The gut lining acts as a barrier, keeping harmful substances like toxins and undigested food particles out of the bloodstream. When this barrier is compromised, a condition we've discussed before called leaky gut, these substances escape and trigger widespread inflammation. Chronic inflammation is a key driver of diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and even neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's.
So, by restoring the gut lining, we're essentially turning off that inflammation switch.
Yes, exactly. And the benefits don't stop there. A healthy gut also influences mood and mental health through something called the gut brain axis. This is the communication highway between your gut and your brain, and it's deeply connected to neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine.
Wait, I remember you mentioning that 90% of serotonin, the feel good hormone, is produced in the gut. That still blows my mind.
It's amazing, isn't it? When your gut is balanced, it supports better mood regulation, sharper focus, and even better sleep. On the flip side, an imbalanced microbiome can lead to issues like anxiety, depression, and brain fog.
Wow, it really is all connected. And you've mentioned before that addressing gut health can even help with weight management.
That's right. A healthy microbiome helps regulate appetite and insulin sensitivity, making it easier to manage weight. Some gut bacteria can even influence how many calories you extract from food, so having the right balance can prevent overeating and weight gain.
It's incredible how these tiny microbes control so much of our health. So, if someone listening makes these changes, adds more fiber, reduces processed foods, incorporates fermented foods, what kind of timeline can they expect for results?
That's one of the most exciting parts, Anna. The microbiome can respond relatively quickly. Within 2 weeks of making dietary changes, you can start seeing improvements in digestion and energy levels. Over time, the benefits compound, leading to better immunity, reduced inflammation, and even noticeable mental clarity. For those who want to dive deeper into this topic, I highly recommend the book Supergut by William Davis. It's an excellent resource that not only explains the science behind gut health in a way that's easy to understand, but also offers practical strategies to restore your microbiome and improve your overall well-being. It's a must-read for anyone serious about taking control of their health.
Dr. Reddy, this has been such an eye-opening discussion. I love how empowering this information is. Just knowing that small, consistent changes can lead to such profound improvements in our health.
I'm glad you feel that way, Anna. The gut is truly one of the most powerful tools we have for taking control of our health. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And with the right knowledge, everyone can make meaningful changes.
And listeners, if this episode has inspired you, please share it with someone who might benefit from it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Everyday Health Stories. You'll get notified of new episodes, gain access to exclusive content, and join a community making positive changes one story at a time.
And as always, please remember, this podcast is for informational purposes only. It's not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider for any medical concerns.
Thank you so much, Dr. Reddy, for sharing your wisdom with us today. And to our wonderful listeners, take care of your gut. It's the key to unlocking a healthier, happier you.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you to everyone listening. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Bye for now.